Anthem TV, a free streaming digital community. With a click of a mouse or a tap on your phone, you have instant access to free TV shows, movies on demand, music, pay-per-view events, and so much more. Download Anthem TV on your smartphone, smart TV, or any streaming device and enjoy instant access. Subscribe and download Anthem TV today.
All right, everybody, welcome tonight. It is Monday. Happy Memorial Day. We are here on the Texas Weather Connection here on Anthem Television. My name is Brian Silva. It's good to see you tonight.
I'm meteorologist Robert Luna.
Meteorologist Sergio Lozano.
All righty, guys. We wanted to jump in today. We don't have anything too formal. We just follow everybody's been tuning into our page today. We've had a lot of active weather today, something that we really weren't expecting until really tomorrow, but it kind of got started a little bit earlier.
Right. And I think for San Antonio, I think you saw the difference today. I mean, things got very cloudy. We had a canopy of clouds come over from the storms out west. And so even at sunset, it looked pretty dark about 30 minutes earlier than usual.
Yeah.
We knew something was different out there.
Yeah, and that's just indicative, Robert, of the air mass or the pattern changing a little bit.
Right.
You know, where the ridge is kind of loosening its grip a little bit. It's allowing for showers and thunderstorms to develop in and around our area finally, and that's good signs. All good signs.
All good signs. So we're talking rain chances probably each day this week. So
we were
close to that.
Close today, gentlemen. We were close. I mean, I think it got as close as parts of Bandera County. I think Uvalde County, Medina, it got a little bit.
Down in Medina, got some rain. Exactly.
But again, I know San Antonio, we did have quite a bit of severe weather, and we want to start off here in the Laredo area, guys. I mean, look what we see here on radar. I mean, it's a nasty supercell across the border. Oh my gosh.
Right.
Yeah, those temperatures down there were extremely hot today. So there's a tremendous amount of instability left over, and those storms are just feeding off of that. And you can see that these are going well into the nighttime hours now, even at the sunsets. There's still plenty of energy to work with. And Laredo looks like there's even storms developing to the south there that I'm watching. So.
Right, and there's good development. We might see a merger of storms that are just south of Laredo that are going through the valley, McAllen, and down getting towards Hebronville, moving northward, but then a storm's moving from out west of Laredo heading towards these storms. So we could see a storm merger there between Laredo and Hebronville here coming up in the next hour or two.
Yeah, and before we move down so we can show everybody else what's going on in the valley here, what y'all are talking about, I mean, we just want to talk about these four different types of radars that we're showing everybody out there right now. You know, that bottom left one where we see that big old white blob in the middle, that's our hail core. So we know that this storm across the border is producing quite a bit of hail. We look into the bottom right, and those yellows in there, guys, that's where we start seeing some dangerous hail. We're talking about 1.5 inch in diameter, 2 inch in diameter, possibly even higher.
Higher than that.
So we definitely see a lot of stuff going on with this storm. That top right one, that's our velocity. We're trying to see what the winds are doing in relation to the radar. And guys, it looks like that this storm has possibly been rotating too as well.
Rotation.
So I mean, it's possible that, you know, we don't know what's going on down there, but it's possible that based on what we've seen with the rotating storms so far over the last 5 weeks, there's a good chance that maybe a tornado could have been out there at some point over the last hour or so. So very, very active weather. Let's go ahead and let's kind of pan down to the valley over here. Let me see and get us a scene from the Brownsville radar.
And you can kind of see that they issued that severe thunderstorm. They canceled it for our area, rightfully so, and then they extended it to the south, and that's because of these storms down here that are firing along the south flow boundary. So.
And I know that right now, I mean, look at how these storms are moving, guys. I mean, it's like I said, we got the boundaries here, and I mean, I would say that Corpus, I mean, we could see some rain in Corpus later on tonight if these storms can maintain its energy.
Right. And there are people driving back. I mean, I know it's getting late in the evening, but there are people heading back to their hometown after they've been traveling for the weekend, long Memorial Day weekend, and people heading back home this evening. And so if you're heading down 35 towards Laredo, likely see some rain. But if you're traveling down 281, you're probably going to get some rain heading down towards the valley.
Yeah,
as
69.
these storms move northward.
South Padre. Yeah, I mean you could be in line for some of these storms. So if you're out there, go ahead, Robert.
I know I want to talk about one little thing. We talk about lightning happening within the storm, but there's one little lightning bolt that's showing well away from the storm. Look at that. It's showing up just south of Rivera there as we're getting into just south of Kingsville. And look at that lightning bolt well away from the storm. You're talking a good 30, 40 miles away.
That is a lot of distance between that strike and the actual storm itself. Robert, Sergio, we've had that happen before, and we've talked about the dangers of this. And you don't have to be right under the actual thunderstorm to be where the lightning is.
Yeah, those are those high anvils. The overshooting tops from these storms are producing high anvil activity now. It looks like, and that's probably what's leading to those lightning strikes that are far and away from the thunderstorms themselves.
It reminds me of the song "Thunder Only Happens When It's Raining," and again, that's not totally true. You got to remember, even if you're away from the storm, it's you can get that lightning bolt well away from the actual rain.
And for those that are inside some of these stronger storms, I mean, guys, look at this. I mean, there's a ton of lightning going on right now. So.
And what's good is that area of South Texas hasn't seen a lot of rain, so this is good drought venting rain. It looks like pretty heavy rain ongoing there. Storm motions are going, but they're training as well. So good copious amounts of rain falling along that 281 corridor, like you said, Robert.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, you're talking down to McAllen and moving. It looks like the whole valley is going to get into some rainfall today. Or through tonight. So interesting process that's happening, and some movements towards the north, and then some movement there as you go way south toward McAllen. You see more of an easterly movement down there.
Yeah, and even though you don't see any type of warnings in terms of, again, severe thunderstorm warning or even a flash flood warning, it doesn't mean that we can't see some hail with some of these stronger parts of the storms. Definitely some heavy rain. We see how much lightning is taking place with these. So we can even see, some small streams and some low-lying roads that could end up with some ponding of waters. Hopefully, again, if you're out and about, be safe. Don't try and drive over anything that has water over it. And again, be careful with all this lightning. It's just very dangerous. That's the one fear that I have is being stuck outdoors when there's lightning. So
when there's lightning,
and there's a lot of low-lying areas. I'm sure you guys are familiar with it. It's not far from the coast, so there's not a lot of elevation down there in McAllen, Weslaco, all those areas that are around there. So it doesn't take much heavy rainfall in a quick amount of time to cause flash flooding down there. So they definitely need to be careful.
So we'll go ahead and we'll pan up to the Dallas area, because I know Dallas was also an area today that was kind of the same time that everything was firing up down here in the Del Rio area, across the hill country. Same thing happened. The storm formed right over Dallas County, right over the city of Dallas.
Right over the city of Dallas.
And, oh my gosh, they were getting pelted with hail up there. And folks, all these little circles that you see on radar here, these are all storm reports that have been submitted. And I mean, look at this, 1 3/4 inch hail. We had some golf ball size hail. We had 2-inch
hail. Yeah, I think I saw 2-inch hail.
Man.
And some of these storms too were kind of doing the same thing. They were just kind of sitting still for a good part. I think that one storm in the Dallas County area was it wasn't stationary, but it was moving at about 2 to 3 miles per hour. So it was as close to stationary as you can get.
I saw a lot of people as I was watching some people post on Twitter and Facebook, and people under bridges on 35 just south of downtown Dallas trying to avoid the hail. And everybody, it was a parking lot. I don't think many people moving on 35 as people trying to stay under the bridges to avoid the hail.
Yeah.
And I guess the only good news was it was a holiday, so there probably wasn't as many people on the roads.
Now, I do want to talk about this storm right here, guys. This is an unfortunate storm to be going over this region. This is the area the other night, heading into the Aubrey area, looking south of Pilot Point, just across I-35 here. But this is where we had EF2 and EF3 tornadoes just a few nights ago. I know we had several fatalities, ton of damage, ton of injuries. it's an unfortunate event, and you know, and Mother Nature isn't, you know, going to just sit back and okay, we can give you time. You know, at least the last couple of days, for the most part, has been hot, but giving them a chance to clean up. But now we have another severe thunderstorm moving through. It looks like tomorrow as well. We could have another round of
round storms for them.
Storms going through the same area again. So, as we've said before, our prayers up to our Texas residents up in northern part of Texas, north of Denton. I know a lot of recovery over the next weeks and months for a lot of those communities.
And you know, and it's just we all know that it was just a matter of time before one of these violent tornadoes decided to show up in a populated area.
Right.
And this is a heavily densely populated area. Thankfully, not in the center of Metroplex, but still. A lot of folks live in Collin County and Denton County and all that stuff. So, man, I follow a couple meteorologists that did some of the surveying up there, and you know, yes, there was a lot of tremendous damage, but a lot of these new homes are just poorly constructed, you know. And so he was kind of going into detail about that, just talking about like that, you know, the construction behind these new homes is not quite as that should be, especially in Tornado Alley. So that's definitely going to be taking a look at. I think they're going to need to take a look at that stuff.
I think the other part that's scary with that type of tornado, a lot of people are in bed after 10, 11 o'clock, and this tornado happened right around the midnight hour. People are asleep, don't get the warning. They might have their cell phone turned off, and here comes the storm that comes through very, very quickly, and all of a sudden it's on top of you. And so always keep up with the latest weather updates, and never know when a tornado is going to be coming your direction.
I mean, not everybody, you know, I know we have our weather radios set and ready to go. So we're prepared, you know, but not everybody has these, you know. And again, like you said, cell phones, like for us, you know, the kids play music at night. So there's music going on, I'm sure, on others that need music to sleep. TV's turned on while they sleep. And that's something they're not going to be able to hear. And again, it was at night. We had people driving on 35.
Right.
It was just a horrible situation with the fact that it was that strong of a tornado. But then at the same time, the fact that nobody could see it. The power had gone out from, I believe it was, if I was reading it correctly at the time, from Sanger to Valley View. And so, you know, one of the things at night that people rely on in terms of trying to see where the tornado's at is power flashes.
Right.
If the power is out, there's no power flashes. And so again, it was just an absolute unfortunate event. And again, we're seeing more chances of severe weather this week. So I'm sure this is not going to be the only thing we talk about in terms of more tornadoes. It's been a very, very active spring season. And I know everybody down here in San Antonio is probably thinking, you know, we haven't really seen much. But hey,
we are actually the anomaly here, because I mean, Houston's seen tremendous amounts of flooding and straight line damage, you know, straight line wind damage, tornadoes, and Dallas Fort Worth as well. Now the valley's getting good heavy rain, so we're kind of like the anomaly here in South Central Texas. But
San Angelo, the same
San
night,
Angelo,
they had winds. They had struck a storm that was heading towards them. That was radar estimates were picking up close to 80, 90 miles per hour. Abilene has been on all the severe weather. Wichita Falls,
it's kind of closing in on us, right?
Yeah. And so again, we can deal without the severe weather here. I know we have had some storms here that have been severe, but we really have dodged a major blow compared to a lot of the other communities around. I mean, the closest I think we saw was when San Marcos had.
San Marcos has been the closest.
Yes, there was a wind-driven baseball-sized hail.
And we can't forget. I guess it's been a little bit closer. Is even the storm that went near Divine to Poteet.
Yeah,
that was really close, but very isolated. But we did have one south of us that caused a good amount of damage.
Yeah, and I think the one thing that you know, compared to, we've had, you know, active severe weather seasons in the past, you know, almost on a yearly basis. There's severe weather every year, but I think the one thing that's made this season different, guys, is that it has hit a lot of heavily populated areas.
And and it's been nationwide. I mean, we're talking
Yes.
days that's from Texas to Iowa,
Tennessee,
Pennsylvania,
Missouri.
way north and way east as well. So,
I was thinking about it, Robert. I think some of these meteorologists that are studying graduate students should do some research because, as you all know, the waters in the Gulf of Mexico and the Atlantic, for that matter, are
Yep.
well above average.
Yeah.
And that coupled with the fading El Nino, what's the correlation? Is
Right.
those warmer waters transporting deeper surface moisture north than we normally see? Is the fading El Nino still having
Yep.
troughiness in the west with upper level winds? Is that causing more diffluence or divergence in the atmosphere? I mean, there's a lot of factors in there,
a
but I
lot
think
of factors.
that's a lot of good research to be had
Yeah.
from this year's severe storm season.
Yeah. And I go back and look at the winter. California just got rain after rain, strong storm system coming their way. And of course,
Mhm.
eventually that jet stream heads to the Central Plains, Southern Plains, and it just caused tons of severe weather. And I mean, it's just been one storm after another. And each of them, the models have been trying to predict correctly, of course, but it's been a severe weather season where the models predict a certain thing and it's been overly underperforming, I guess, because each day we go like, well, it has to be one level higher or two levels higher.
And the fact that I think we're already looking at what level 3 tomorrow.
3 tomorrow.
I mean, I honestly, I expect this to expand in aerial coverage. I think it's going to be more. It's going to be added to that level 3. And I wouldn't be surprised if there's even a small area, especially in north of San Antonio, up into central part of Texas, that may be even upgraded more to maybe level 4. So it's definitely going to be an active day tomorrow. We plan on being on tomorrow. So if severe weather to pop in sooner, we'll jump in too.
So let me ask Sergio real quick.
Sure.
So what do you think would initiate? Where do you think the storms are going to initiate tomorrow? Where do you think they're going to start?
Well, I think two areas of concern are going to be the West Texas dry line that's going to be pushing a little further east tomorrow. So out to the west, northwest of our area. And then also there's some outflows that are occurring right now from the Dallas-Fort Worth storms. Yeah. That outflow is going to move from northeast to southwest. So northeast is another area. So I kind of expect it to kind of slowly close in on either from the west, northwest, and the northeast kind of coming in. And it'll probably be in the late afternoon here in San Antonio before we start seeing the storms moving in, if they are able to hold together. But one thing for sure is we'll have plenty of instability around. That's not the question. It's just a matter of how the mesoscale processes work tomorrow. So we'll see how it plays out.
We'll see. So we'll be looking at the radar up towards Dallas in the afternoon hours out west. And I think our time frame, Brian, looks to be around this time tomorrow. If we get any rain, it'll be coming in mid to late evening, and then maybe possibly continuing for maybe a couple hours, hopefully.
Yeah, but we took up about one of those models popping up storms after midnight, right?
Right.
Yeah. I think even has it to where after the initial line moves through, we could be even seeing some back end lifting that we can get some more storms forming around here, maybe 3, 4, or 5 in the morning. So even going into Wednesday morning could be a little bit wet out there for rush hour. So it's definitely going to be something that we have to keep an eye on. Again, there's a lot of different factors. Again, we know how the model's been. And again, we see right now, we saw it before we started live here. We saw that outflow boundary coming from the Dallas area. Those storms were just so strong, and so now that boundary's again slowly pushing southwest. So
we'll see.
What's interesting is the storms down in the valley. Really, the models weren't painting that earlier.
Right, Robert.
What does that do to things tomorrow as well? Because really, we weren't expecting severe weather way south of us, and it's happening.
And Robert, I was kind of looking at things, and this is very typical as we head late spring into the early summer, is what we call northwest flow events. So storms that form in the high terrain, even as far northwest as Colorado, New Mexico, Panhandle, Texas. There's storm complexes that develop up there, and they ride the jet stream to the southeast. And I think later this week we're going to have to keep an eye on that as well. So it's going to be a tough forecast, and but as time goes on, we should be able to narrow down better time periods. But right now, it looks like late afternoon, evening times is when we're going to be more susceptible to that down here in South Central Texas.
I think one thing I'm looking forward to is getting rid of this 100-degree temperatures, because
Absolutely.
it was miserable this weekend. It was not fun to be out there.
You know, I had a friend of mine travel from New Orleans to San Antonio. He said it was more humid here than it was in New Orleans. How many times have you heard that? I've never heard that.
Wow.
It's ridiculous.
It was. Those dew points were up. I saw some around 80 degrees.
78? Yeah.
Yep.
It's ridiculous.
I think we were talking about yesterday, where the dry line was between Del Rio and Uvalde, and Del Rio was at what, dew points?
Dew point
20s?
into the 20s, mid 20s. Yeah.
Uvalde was in the upper 60s, lower 70s for their dew point. We saw their actual air temperature of 98 compared to 112.
Right.
It probably, even with the 112, 111 in Del Rio, that probably still felt cooler
Oh, yeah.
than it did in Uvalde.
And you
But
talk about
at least if you, go ahead, Robert. Sorry.
record-breaking heat for Del Rio. They broke their May record just about a week ago, 109, and then they broke it again yesterday. And like, whoa, what else can they get? So hopefully they'll get some rain after.
I think I read it,
breaking
the third highest temperature that
Yep.
is had in
Ever.
Del Rio.
third highest. Mhm.
And we're
Wow.
only in May.
That's
Only in
ridiculous.
May, exactly.
All
Well,
right.
the only thing I was going to say before we head out is I did look at our climatology, and we're officially below average now for the year. So that cushion that we had from the January and February rain is gone.
It's
So
gone.
now we are officially in a deficit. So we desperately need rain.
You travel a good 30, 45 minutes to the northeast of San Antonio though, and
Totally
they don't have
different
any
story.
issues.
Green.
Oh man, just that
Lush.
little short distance makes a huge difference. So before we end, guys, Rosalinda, Mom, again, she said thank you for the updates. So of course, as always, Sergio, you had a shout out from Randy Rubio. So he's saying, "What's up, Serge?" And again, guys, thank y'all for tuning in. We really appreciate it. Again, we'll be on again tomorrow night. Hopefully with some good news in terms of the
Rainfall, exactly.
Antonio. Hopefully also good news in terms of not as much severe, but we're planning on that probably being the case tomorrow. We'll keep you up to date throughout the day as well with any updates from the Storm Prediction Center, from National Weather Service. But from us here at the Texas Weather Connection here on Anthem Television, I'm Brian Silva. Again, thank you for joining us tonight.
I'm meteorologist Robert Luda. Hopefully we get some rain.
And I'm meteorologist Sergio Lozano. Enjoy the cooler temperatures, hopefully.
Yeah.
We'll take what we can get.
Good night. Yeah.
Good night, everybody.
Good night.
Innocent people are unexpectedly injured. You are not alone. One man has made it his mission to fight for you. With millions recovered for his clients and over 20 years' experience handling injury cases, he'll ride with you till the end. If you or a loved one have been injured in a motor vehicle crash or on the job, Marco Crawford Law is the firm you want to choose.